Hey guys, what's going on? We are back. This is another interview that we're doing today with one of my really good friends. Like I said, a brother to me, he's a mentor, Jamal Newborn with Exposyour Marketing. Jamal has taught me a lot of stuff that I know today. He's also an expert in the field of marketing, and I invited him up to talk to us a little bit more about what we can do for businesses, we can do personally in terms of marketing during this time. There's a full shelter in place order in the whole state of California, so people are figuring out ways of doing as much as they can with a lot of the time they have allocated now. So Jamal, go ahead and introduce yourself. Like, what's happening, man?
Nothing, just here in this quarantine. Like you said, it's a shelter in place, but it looks like we can't even go outside unless it's essential needs. Um, one, it's a fortunate to actually experience this. I mean, you hear about it in the history books, but with the Great Depression and everything, I never thought I would actually be able to be inside one of these. You got to look at it from an optimistic view in that aspect. But definitely, this is different. Me personally, company been around for 16 years now. Was able to go through the recession before 2008. To me, this I think this is going to be almost very similar, or not worse, or close to it. But that's what we're looking to see and see what this administration or and all the people around do with the business community.
Cool. Sweet. Yeah, man. So, how's business going? Like, I know marketing is tough right now, but how's business?
Marketing is taking a hit, especially on the event side mostly. I think that was the first thing we started to see right away was just the closing of different events that we had planned for different clients and getting their exhibit booths to them and the signage and things of that nature. As well as with this shutdown, we do a lot of signage as well on buildings. So, just seeing where we can't even go install things or because you have to, we have to use cranes and things of that nature, and it's more than 10 people, so, particularly on certain jobs and things of that nature. But getting through as far as clients, a lot of clients, we are actually switching a lot of things over to digital. A lot of clients were already trying to go digital in the beginning before anyway. But I think now it's fast tracked that a little bit, where they could do a little bit more of that prong approach. Also, doing some mailers because the mail system still works. So there's a lot of direct mail opportunities. We also doing a lot of sales sheets, like digital versions. And right out of this, and I remember in 2008, webinars were like a big hit. So webinars are coming back. Things like this, what you're doing on this kind of platform, are coming back around, and people need graphics for. And then also, this is the time to spruce up your website. There's a lot of traffic that needs to come back to your site and things of that nature. So if you had one of those sites that was still built on HTML, which you at this point probably shouldn't, but to start getting a little more robust, now's the time to do some of that R&D. But I know a lot of people look at the industry and the first thing they want to do is cut marketing and advertising. But now is actually the time where a lot of people are not doing much, or there's a lot of opportunities where like Facebook ads, for instance. I mean, it's a marketplace, right? But if not a lot of people are doing it, that means that the cost per conversion has come down quite a bit. So there's a lot of optimistic side on the marketing side.
Cool. How do you so how did you let your customers know like what was going on? Like, what was the best way of outreach? Did you call every single one of them? Did you email blast? Like, how did you make them aware of the current status?
Well, number one, I mean, you got to think about things in this situation. I mean, getting new customers right now is probably the hardest it's going to be, right? So the first thing we do is take care of our customer base that we already have. One, they've been loyal to you for like the longest, right? So you got to make sure they're first priority. That's the first thing we did. We literally sent the email out to a couple, like a mass email. Then I actually got our team to actually, just finish up all the projects that we could that were already pending. So that's something that we have to do, especially for our company, who's trying to protect the different things there too. And then also making sure that everybody had all of the marketing tools that they need. So one is social media is a huge tool. I mean, I couldn't imagine this pandemic without it. I mean, just getting the word out the same way the government is getting it out, the same way you need to get it out. So, I mean, they're literally teaching you how to talk to the masses at this point, if you really look at it from that aspect. And right now, I mean, literally just doing those one-on-one touches with people, calling people, they're at home, You know, they're thinking right now, how do I save my business? How do I make it through this? How do I get word out that we're still open? I think I saw a couple of businesses, even restaurants, trying to say that they're still open, still cooking. You can come get takeout. I mean, that needs to get out. But if you didn't have a marketing plan in place or a team that can get that information out, now is the time to actually get that done, right? So the biggest thing right now is just going to be content and really just getting it out to the masses or people in your local communities and targeting those people to let them know that you're out, because those are the people that's actually going to shop from you right now, depending on your business model or structure in a sense.
Yeah, because like what I've seen, I've seen companies like Uber Eats and companies like what else? DoorDash offering free delivery services now because a lot of businesses currently don't have the bandwidth to really, you know, add that into their margin. So I see that happening a lot because people are
Right.
like, oh, everyone's sitting at home. Okay, we have to bring food to them, you know, so on and so forth. So um, I was reading yesterday that a company, like these small business mom and pop shops, are just looking for help, you know, because they really thrive in our community and walk-ins and stuff like that. So I understand, like that's like tough. So for a small business just like that, like what would you recommend, like for them to get the word out? I know you said a little bit about mailers, but what else?
Yeah, number one, I mean, just to give you a little background on that, just because what we know as marketers, and definitely the size of our agency, uh, that industry is taking a hit. One, because they had small margins to begin with, and when they do actually have the funds and things of that nature that they feel like they could do with their loans, their business loans that they receive, they didn't really do a lot of marketing on the aspect like a corporation would do, right? So a lot of them would do like they would do the mailers already, but it would be like the ones that go in the newspaper, the really cheap ones, and or just putting an A-frame outside of their business. So one, they're taking a hit because they never had that structure before, so they have to rethink that. I mean, I think moving forward, coming out of this, you have to really think about where you're putting your dollars at, and is that A-frame really going to do it for you in the future, right? So that's number one. Then again, the different window signage and stuff like that. Yeah, it's great when people walking by with traffic, but now you're in a pinnacle point where you have to attract people that want this delivery service. I mean, delivery service came about and it was like more of a convenient thing, but right now it's a dire need. But how do you get people to know that, when you had this A-frame, how did you get them to know that now you can deliver? Because that was another thing. Again, that's the reason why, if you look at the trends, that's why they are kind of taking the hit the most. Now, not to say that okay, you should have did this, you could have did that, and that would have made it better, but you got to really think about that coming out of this, and that's the future. So yes, I think direct mail still works. So that's nothing but getting a hold of a marketing agency like ours as well. We're still printing, we're still designing, getting that out to the federal mailing system, pushing those flyers out in the targeted areas. Also, there's a lot of social media opportunities. Like I said, again, the ads and all the different aspects there. Hitting up your customers and doing newsletters and things of that nature, trying to spread that word out, trying to get that community spread. Again, now it's community spread with the virus, but it also needs to be community spread with the communication. And I know people might feel differently about that word, but it is what it is. This is how it works. You have to get people out. What we used to call it viral marketing. A video went viral, right? Are those words now sensitive that we can't use them anymore? No, they are the actual reasons why things work, right? So we have to really come to sense with what words we're using, how we're getting it out, what's the message, what actually works, how do we get people to know? I mean, how did you get your 90-year-old or 80-year-old grandmother to know that she can't come outside? You know, that's literally the things that
Right.
need to happen. That's how we have to look at it from that approach.
Yeah. Wow. That I never thought of it that way. So as these businesses, basically like pent on survival right now, and those that can really weather the storm, what do you think they should be doing like post quarantine?
Repeat that one last question again.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the businesses that really get to weather the storm, that kind of
Okay.
make it through this transitional period, those that make it, because we know like some business may not make it, like that's just being real.
Right.
What should businesses do like post quarantine that you think could be, or like post COVID, like what do you think they should be doing?
Okay. So one thing is one, even right now, I mean, because of course you have a customer journey, now you have a business journey, right? So yes, I agree with you 100%. I mean, you watch any type of news outlet, CNN, Fox News, whatever, right? Now at this point, they're all saying the same thing in a sense. Some businesses are, like you said, are just not going to make it, and I mean that's what happens when we have economy situations like this. And the way we were running, we literally came from a pretty decent, solid, you know, different opinions economy to just hold a full stop, right? So, and some businesses just kind of like they were putting doubling down on different things, and they got caught in the middle, right? So I think right now is one, you you have to look at it like, can you make it? Yes, some businesses actually can make it. At the same time, I remember when I used to have my club with my mentor there, Terry. He used to tell me we make more money when the club's closed, right? And actually, I used to be like, what do you mean by that? That doesn't make sense, right? But you kind of save quite a bit. You just have to look at things a little differently, and see what you can cut costs on right now. Like, did you make sure that your like all your electrical devices inside of your business were cut off or unplugged, so you're not getting those vampire hours of electricity doing things? Did you go through your check and balances and make sure that there was some type of software or something that you really really do not need right now, right? So did you cut that off? Did you just pause that? Did you suspend it? There's not a lot of reasons for you to keep paying on something that you know that you're going to save a little emergency nugget to get out of here, to give a boost start maybe into your marketing and things of that nature, to let people know, hey, look at me, because everybody's going to hit the ground running after this happens. Now, if you weather the storm and make it, the first thing you should do, again, if you're already doing some of the things now to get the word out, you either double down on that because it's going to be a slow upturn, right? We always talk about this curve. Even with the virus, there's always a curve with the business. We always call it, there's a marketing trend where we say we want to be in a chasm, right? So where everybody's buying. But you're still going to have a financial curve here. You're going to have a marketing curve. You're going to have everything that's going to come up, and that you got to be on the upward battle of that to get up there, and then you'll be trucking along. And if you've saved enough money to be able to have something in your budget for marketing, because that's the only thing that really brings business in. Now it's not going to be a lot of handshakes. You use those already during the virus. It's going to be getting it out and then doing those handshakes all over again. Taking a client out to dinner to eat a steak for $150 with a bottle of wine, bill coming up to be $600, getting a client is not going to work right out of your post. You have to get the word out that your business survived this, that you also took the time for your R&D to make sure that everybody is getting the best product outside of this. And you've hooked up with different vendors that you wanted to hook up before, and actually grow your business and make a better product. However that looks for your business, that's the words you got to get out. And the only way you can do that is through the marketing, advertisements, channels, social media, print, everything. I mean, you got to let people know outside of this.
Wow, yeah, that's super powerful. Um, yeah, I appreciate you really take the time out to really like share with us, like, best practices and helping people out, because as you know right now, like it's all about community. It's all about community. What can we do to help each other? So
And
let's.
one last thing I want to add to that, just that I thought about it. I was on a call with my mentor the other day. She has a program, but she took the time out. Morgan Devon. The biggest thing that she said, which I was already thinking, I had actually told my team this, and then she kind of reinforced it. If I was down as a leader of my business, if I was down in the trenches, who would you want to be with? And you have to be that leader in times like this. They need to be able to look up at you and say, I wanted to be with that person if I was down in the trenches, which is what we are right now.
So now that we've kind of talked about leadership and being the guy that's down in the trenches, like let's talk more about you. Like, so I know you talked a little bit, like well, I know this. I know you're from DC, Capitol Heights, right?
Yep.
Um, and you used to be in the nightclub industry. You've done a lot of really cool projects with some really, influential people. Like, what about your personal life? Like during this quarantine, like what are you doing? Like, how are you staying healthy? Like, what's going on there?
Well, it's funny enough. Like I made a post not too long ago. I actually got tagged in every push-up challenge that my friends found on social media. I mean, one thing about it, they're definitely getting the word out about push-ups, right? So um, I would say, one is just do the things that you were doing before that you had home workouts. Look up tons of home workouts. There's a lot of fitness people online right now, just again trying to save their business. So they're posting different workouts that you can do. So there's that. But for me personally, so I bought a fitness, a soft fitness treadmill. So I do my sprints. We got an elliptical here. We also, just do like calisthenics and things of that nature. And then if you can get out, I mean, I would ride my bike. I mean, that's not something that you could do and be right next to somebody, right? Or you just listen right past them. And then I see tons of people just taking runs and, just trying to give 6 feet when they pass somebody and things of that nature. So we went on a walk yesterday, my wife and I. So again, it's kind of good because then you get to talk and walk at the same time and just get some fresh air, get out the place that you live in and things of that nature. So that's what I've been doing. And another thing is eat healthy. I mean, 90%, 80 to 90% of your diet and healthy is just eating right. And I know everybody right now is trying to get all the vitamins in the world into their system right now just to make sure they're safe. So, but at the same time, how these things work. You can load your system up, but you got to burn it too. So get to moving, doing something. You don't want to have a whole bunch of a thousand vitamin A and C just sitting in your gut. It's gotta move in your bloodstream so to pass through the rest of your body. So it's one thing, or to just be wasted.
Cool. And then so last question. I've been asked this to everyone. So everyone in the world is listening to this podcast right now. What is something that you would want them to know?
One thing I would say is one, stay informed. I mean, the biggest thing is you have all the reasons in the world to know what's going on now. I mean, I think I just saw I was watching CNN just the other day, and the people in Florida are still spring breaking right now. I mean, and that's just not what you should be doing right now. Just take heed. I mean, this is not a situation where it's like, hey, I don't believe this at this point. I mean, this has affected the world at this point. It's not just an American issue or USA thing. So I would say, man, just really listen to the health professionals on TV. Take your best judgments as well. What I've also done too is make sure I cut out a lot of my habits. Everybody knows I love my wine, but since this has happened, I have not taken a sip of wine. So you can't have any habits when you're going through a crisis. So that's one thing. And then also, one, just focus on your business. Now you have all the time in the world to focus on your company, your career. Is your career still there? Should you move to another career? Should you start brushing up with some skills that you felt like you were lacking in your career? I mean, you have all the time in the world to do some online courses right now, right? So I would say we're going to get through this. It's not like you're going to die and it all is going to happen like we have like the Big Bang Theory happening, right? Or nothing right now. This is a pandemic, and the professionals are going to do what they got to do. So I say hunker down. You're going to make it through it. Look at your future. If you do get sick, prepare for that. Just know what you have to do with your family. If you have kids, things of that nature, food sources, and just really ride the wave. I mean, this literally happened in 2008. Just wasn't a viral aspect. Right now, it's just looking more of a economic impact more than it is a viral at this point, and you just got to focus there.
Cool. Awesome. Awesome. So take the time, plug your social. How can people reach you? How can people get a hold of you? Let them know.
Company socials, Exposyour Marketing on IG, just all together, and it's EXPOSYOUR Marketing. My personal is Jamal Newborn _ on IG as well. Facebook, you just type in Exposyour. LinkedIn, type in Exposyour, EXPOSYOUR. It should pop up. I mean, we're a marketing company, so if we don't pop up, please let me know, and I will make that happen. And then I'll even give you a chance to show you how to do it if you can't find me or something.
Cool. Awesome. Hey, well, thanks for joining me today, man. Really appreciate it. So it's Mike Lee. Thanks for tuning in. I'll holler at you later. Peace.